Wonder Woman issue 81, G. Willow Wilson writing with Tom Derenick on the art, and that's the first thing I'll probably mention, is the art is pretty rough, and it's one of the first panels in the book, actually. Not the first, because there's like 4 or 5 pages of the exact same thing, which I'll get to complain about in a minute, but...
you mean, yeah, filler.
Yeah, the first like proper panel, though, after those 5 pages of setup, which are kind of worthless, is Wonder Woman looks like a caveman. Like, what's happening with that panel? Look at how high our traps are compared to her neck. She's got a hunchback going on or something here.
Even the one before that, with her versus Cheetah, with the doom symbol behind, she looks very much like a Neanderthal. So
yeah, I feel like I've liked Wilson's run a lot. I think this issue suffers from having to just quickly wrap everything up.
This makes me feel foolish for ever arguing about Carrie Nord, about it not being my thing. I will much rather take art that's not really my thing compared to this.
Yeah, so basically
there's some rough stuff. Like, I know you're trying to move on to the story, but there's some good pages, like anything with Atlantiades, but pretty good.
Well,
after that.
I was actually just going to go back to the first 5. I wanted to complain about how the fact that it felt like so they do a thing where the first page is like the Amazons on Themyscira looking up at the sky and seeing a doom symbol. There's a lot of that this week, the big doom symbol in the sky. Some of the books integrate it well, some of them don't. Just whatever. This book has like 5 pages of the same thing where it's just different characters looking up, and they're all full page spreads.
I can think of a way to do this economically better, where you just show the doom sign and show everybody else where they're at with a title next to it. Summer Grove, Themyscira.
Yeah, one page you could have the top half be the doom symbol in the sky, have the bottom half just be the 4 or 5 panels of people looking up. But you have the Amazons looking up. There's very little narration here as well. You have Antilades and Maggie looking up at it in the town. You got Steve looking up at it. He's on a boat somewhere.
Off the coast of Maine, which, like, dude, I get it. Love died for you, but your thing is to go boating up by Aquaman? Like,
and then Kale's looking up at it, and then at that point I was like, oh come on, surely we've done everyone by now. And I was like, oh yeah, Wonder Woman herself. So Wonder Woman and Cheetah are fighting, and the symbols above them. So it's the same thing for like 5 pages. It felt really repetitive, and like, why did we waste 5 full pages on this?
Well, because there's not much story here.
That is true.
It is very well wrapped up. If we didn't know that Wilson was leaving for Sandman Universe stuff, then I'd be a little bit more upset that the story just kind of falls apart, because we've been here for the return to Themyscira and all this other stuff, and the introduction of Atlantiades, and here, and she finally attains godhood, which is awesome, because it's like the death of the old and up with the new, and everything feels so rushed here. Just even Kale's betrayal, like, there's a bit of dialogue where she's talking to herself. It's like, well, I'll know that I'm right in the end. Where it's like, well, no, all this goodwill that we've had has just been spent just to wrap up the story.
Yeah, Wonder Woman gets new armor from Antilades when they show up to, like, sort of, hey, I'm a god now, and love is back, and yada yada yada. And Wonder Woman just sort of smashes the death, the God Slayer sword.
The sword.
And that's kind of it. And instead of, and she's like, Cheetah, you are going to Themyscira like you want, but you're going to go and be in prison in Themyscira. That's it, it's over, kind of thing. And Steve and Diana, it's like, yeah, obviously we regret what we said, but we're still broken up because we said a lot of bad things that can't be taken back. So Wonder Woman's leaving her apartment. She's done there at that house, and we have Kale kind of reveals that she was somewhat behind the sword in the first place, and she was working with Cheetah. To an extent, which is an interesting little reveal, because Cheetah and Kale don't traditionally like each other very much.
No.
And the end of the book is those 3 evil-looking, I don't even what you call them, dark Amazons, dark gods.
They remind me of the Fates from Greek mythology.
Yeah, we saw these previously on Themyscira, a number of issues ago. And this sets up that they're going to use Cheetah to get out, and maybe they'll be teamed up. And it says next new beginning. And the next issue is the start of Steve Orlando's run. It is really kind of an awkward, rushed ending to this stuff. it definitely feels like the plan wasn't to end or run here originally, and obviously plans have changed.
Right.
This is really unfortunate. It's unfortunate the art took such a downturn in this last arc. It's unfortunate that it had this kind of, and I still like the run overall a lot. I still think it had a lot of great stuff in it.
Oh, me too. One of my favorite Wonder Woman stories, despite the art, is her and Giganta going through and fighting the giants. Like, that one's gonna stick out, and that's super rare for me considering how much I love the Wonder Woman Rucka stuff. So
yeah, I like that. I've liked the first arc a lot. Like, there's some really good stuff in here, and I think, I mean, obviously, circumstances are what they are, but I mean, I guess, yeah, you can maybe critique Wilson a little bit for wanting to abandon it to go do something else, and maybe that's the one critique you can throw at her, and then just kind of how.
And I'm not with all those other books coming out. I just feel like I don't want to read Orlando, and I feel like I'm being unfair to not just Orlando but to Diana, but at the same time, I have a lot of DC books to read already. And if I could cut one to make some time...
I mean, maybe I'll read the next one, just to see how it is, see if it grabs me. But I feel like it's probably not going to. Obviously, we're going to be there for 750 because that's an anthology issue, and we're treating that like Detective 1000 or whatever. But I'm not excited about Orlando taking over at all. So
so we have an annual coming next week, a bit of the thing. Right, a bit of look into the future, and it's an Event Leviathan tie-in, right? Because Steve Trevor. But now my continuity brain's trying to fix this trying to plot where Event Leviathan has happened compared to Doom, right? Because does this go back, and we're dealing with Steve and Diana before all of this, or what? You know what I mean?
Good
I
question.
feel like DC's kind of made themselves a little net here by deciding to put the Doom symbols in the sky.
Yeah, they're clarifying that all this stuff's taking place around the same time.
Right.
So it's not as flexible to just move things around in your head to make it all click together. Then you have to kind of all right, okay, we've got this harsh moment in time where everything has to be happening at the same time. So. Yeah, it's a shame how this is kind of ended. It's not a terrible issue by any means. The art's pretty bad, and those first 5 pages are just a waste of space.
Yeah. Jason's nowhere to be found, so it's not that bad. So yeah.
Yeah. So here's hoping that maybe Orlando will be good. I don't know. But like you said, there's a lot of new books starting. Having one less book on a couple of weeks of the month, especially since the double shipping is still there in January, unlike what because we didn't think it was going to be, and then all the double shipping books for the most part seem to still be double shipping. So
yeah,
I will definitely try to give a chance to the first issue of Orlando's run in 2 weeks' time or 3 weeks' time because it's the 5th week next week. But we'll see. But yeah, the art on this is pretty bad. Some of the faces are just skewed. The proportions on Wonder Woman at times do look kind of Neanderthal-esque, and it feels.
Yeah. And hey, if that was her gimmick, cool. But it's not.
It's not.
Yeah, she's an Amazon, but she's not a cave woman Amazon. So.
Yeah. What are you giving it, Matt?
I'm gonna give this one a 6.5. Mainly just because of the art. If it was just better art in the story, it might be a 7. But yeah,
I'm going to go with a 6. I think similar reasons, but I think that first 5 pages really annoyed me. It was like, this is just wasting pages. Like, this is just nothing. I mean, at the very least, I suppose. I mean, it could have been filler with lots and lots of words that took a while to read, and then I'd be even more annoyed. At least this was so quick to read because it was just 5 full-page spreads. But it just, like it felt like a waste of space and just killing time.